Alrighty, guys. Happy Sunday. I'm in town for a few more hours. I took one of my favorite setups on the market open earlier, so we're just going to go over that and journal it real quick. Open up the broker here as well. So I'm currently using Lucid prop firm, which so far I like. It's similar enough to funded futures, and I got nothing against it. So here we see on the 5-minute chart, went short right here, sold right here. That was one 1-minute candle, pretty much right at the market open. I love these Sunday evening open trades when they exist. They're not as frequent as they used to be because we're not in that same intense bull market that we were in last year, but they do still appear. And when they do, I am a big fan of capitalizing on them. So in the journal, we're just going to kind of go over the process here. Here is that 1-minute bar. I watched this first high volume open push up, and the selling afterwards on the tape was aggressive. It was snapping price down 20-30 points at a time. So once I witnessed that, I just waited for the candle close 4 minutes after the open and went short basically right as it closed. And due to the range that we've been in last month, this month, I am comfortable quickly taking profits instead of trying to ride it out and maximize it. And to me, what we see here, that was the correct decision. So when I take a trade like this, that's my one trade today, and it recovered all the losses that I wiped out going on tilt last Friday, trading pre-market before I went into work, which was not a good decision. But we're still up overall. We still have a positive EV of $12 for each trade, and that will smooth out over time as we get more trades in the account. So we're sitting at a pretty 600 overall. Now, if I back up the 5-minute footprint here a little bit, this was the other thing that I saw that caused me to confirm and take the trade. Not only do we have this huge gap in the open, meaning over the weekend, while the market is closed, there's no orders placed, but when it opens, price is settled way down here. That's pretty bearish overall. And I saw this large trade at this price level of 29,552. A big block of buy orders came in and price went the opposite way. So again, high volume open when there are a lot of buy orders, but price goes down. Again, reference that effort versus result theory from Wyckoff. And we remain below VWAP, volume weighted price average, and we have a POC toward the bottom of the profile. So as you can see, most of the trading has been done below volume weighted average price and down towards the bottom of the distribution. So point being, one of my setups is that Sunday open. It is a rebalancing. There are a lot of orders over the weekend that need to be balanced out, and those moments when the market opens at times can be extremely aggressive, especially depending on any news events or anything that happened over the weekend. I didn't even pay attention to any news this weekend. I was busy. Maybe there's some correlation there. This time I didn't track it. I was unaware of it. Took my one trade and walked away. And that's the goal. That's not always going to happen, right? That's the goal. So passing a prop firm to become funded and head on to receive payouts, the math on that is a 1 to 1.5. So this would be 1.5. So we're doing okay there. We're a little bit below goal, but like I said, we still have a positive trade EV, and that is with a lot of trades over the last week. I broke my rules here. I took my daily loss of 300 off, and I decided to trade more. We can look at this day too. Winner, loser, loser, winner, 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 loser, winner, winner. Then I had this string of losers. Then I had a recovery winner, and then a couple more losers, and that's a wrap. So that wasn't the best day, but we recovered today, and we shall charge forward because every day is different. And on losing days like this, that's just because I wanted to profit. I was focused on the outcome rather than the process. I was focused on the previous 2 days since starting this account that I was happy with, and I was really confident, overconfident that I could keep that momentum going. That's not what happened, but thankfully, due to my experience tilting to my death, more or less, I'm still able to stop myself at a reasonable amount of risk. Still about 1.5% of the account balance. So that is still very, very reasonable risk for the day. And on the journey to becoming profitable, these are the kind of things that we learn. We learn that one red day is not the end of the world. but we have to be cognizant to make sure it doesn't turn into 2 red days, 3 red days. Because with how tight these risk parameters are on these prop firms, you don't get too many red days, especially big ones. So we'll keep that in mind as we carry on. So those were all the factors that caused me to jump on into that trade. Readjust our volume footprint chart here. I want to see from 1700. There's your rebalanced standard deviation. That's a pretty balanced bell curve. Point of control is a little bit up higher. VWAP is resting on it, which makes sense. And the plays here would be to try to take shorts off of the POC and the VWAP mix, or wait for a break and retest above the point of control and VWAP. But I'm done. I took my one trade and I'm gonna walk away for today. I love these Sunday market open trades when they just hit like that. You can get in and just hit that trade and then walk away. Win rate, we're sitting at a 55, which is all good and well when we're seeking a 1 to 1.5 at least. Wednesday's win rate was 81%, which is fantastic. Thursday, 53.85, fantastic. This was a bad day. Win rate still wasn't terrible, but I just took way too many trades. I overtraded. And then today, this is what you want to see every time. Reasonable, adjusted risk, managed well, one trade, and walk away. And if you're still very new to trading and you're at that point where you're having trouble walking away after a win, there's plenty of time to journal. So that is a good way to positively focus that energy. And journaling is really important for the aspect of data collection. So another thing I'll do is put screenshots in there. I had to charge up my mic a little bit, so that's why I was holding it kind of weird. And the first thing that we have to learn, I would say, or the first thing that I had to learn, was how important journaling our losses are to figure out how we're losing. But just as important, maybe even more important, is really examining the winners. And of course, that's more fun, right? We have to go through that despair and pain and sorrow and anxiety of examining why we lost early on to figure out how to not do that anymore. But then at a certain point, at least this is how my experience has been, then at a certain point, I realized I need to identify exactly what I'm looking so that when it appears, I can find it. Then I had to refine my execution when those moments appear. Without all that mix of collected data, we won't have the confidence to not hesitate, and we won't have the confidence to execute properly when that opportunity presents itself. And if you look at the setup of this trade, look at this essentially as the opposite of a short squeeze, right? We all know what a short squeeze is. When there are large institutions, GameStop is the best example. When there are large institutions that are hedging maybe, and they're just putting in a ton of sell orders, they're short on all their options, and everybody's short, then there's enough buy volume, there's enough bids, there's enough people eating up those sell offers to actually raise price. And then those same traders that were short in the market have to cover their positions, meaning they're buying back those positions. So that's even more buy orders, and then the short gets squeezed. This is kind of the same thing in the opposite direction, more of a downside crash. I will call it a buyer blowout. Early on, you're gonna have to set up a template, right? Like, why did I take this trade? What did I see? Was it in my time frame? What indicators did I have on? You're gonna have to collect data for a long time, as long as it takes you. It's all relative to each person. But once that data is collected and you have everything set up to where you don't need to be adjusting anything, you can pop everything open and just know exactly what you're looking at, know exactly what you're looking for. Then journaling gets easier because you can do these simple kind of journals like this. So happy Sunday. Enjoy your week. I wish everyone wealth, happiness, peace, bliss, and abundance in all of your activities going forth. God bless.